welcome back to another one, you guys. If you are new to the channel, my name is Andrew with Younger Nissan in Frederick, Maryland. For more information on our inventory, please feel free to check out the link in the description box below. So today we're in the brand new 2025 Nissan Altima because all-wheel drive is available on the Altima as it was previously, and you can't say that for all the competitors in the segment here. You also get 2 years or 24,000 miles of complimentary maintenance, so that's going to save you some money there too. And there is one major change for the 2025 model year. So ultimately in this video we will be testing out and going over everything about this one. So having said that, what do you guys say? Let's go ahead and jump right into it. And as always, let's start with pricing. And so as you can imagine, there are several different trim levels for the 2025 Altima. First one being the S, starting at $27,000 even, which is a $1,270 bump from the 2024 model year, in case you were curious. SV for $27,430. SR, which is the one we are in today, starting at $28,830. And lastly, the SL starting at $33,330. And so that was all pricing for the front wheel drive version. If you wanted to add all-wheel drive, you can do that. Simply add $1,500 then to any of those prices. But regardless of the trim level that you go with, the power plant is going to be the same. That's the big change for the 2025 model year. Last year there was a turbocharged engine available. This year there is not. So powering all trim levels is a 2.5 liter naturally aspirated inline four-cylinder, putting out 188 horsepower at 6,000 RPM for the front wheel drive, slightly less, coming in at 182 horsepower for the all-wheel drive, 180 pound-feet of torque coming in at 3,600 RPM for the front wheel drive, 178 pound-feet of torque for the all-wheel drive. Power being sent to front wheels or all wheels through a CVT. 0 to 60 time coming in at approximately 7.4 seconds, with MPG numbers coming in at 27 in the city, 39 on the highway for the front wheel drive, 26 city, 36 then on the highway. Still impressive for the all-wheel drive, taking regular unleaded fuel. So, but now before we do any kind of fun acceleration tests, as we're sitting at this red light here, I did want to mention to you guys the driving mode. There is one driving mode. It is a sport driving mode, and it is hidden. It's actually this horizontal line located on the shifter, so it's kind of camouflage. You never would have known it's there, but it adjusts things like the shift points and the throttle response. So now having got all of that out of the way, what do you guys say? Let's go ahead and find a straightaway. Let's put the acceleration here to the test, and let's see how quickly we can get our new 2025 Nissan Altima here up to speed. All right, we do have it in that sport driving mode. Found our straightaway in 3, 2, 1, go. All right, instant acceleration. Everything's flying. I like that. Dang. That's actually not that bad. I'm not sure you would really need the turbocharged engine, quite honestly, in terms of merging onto the highway. Like, this thing is plenty quick, and because it's not turbocharged, you don't have any of that turbo lag either. So quite honestly, I like the engine configuration in this thing. There's nothing wrong with that. But anyways, I'm gonna take it out of sport driving mode to go along with that acceleration. As always, braking is equally important. So up front, you will find 11.7-inch ventilated front discs. In the back, 11.5-inch solid rear discs. As far as that 6 or stopping distance goes, that comes in at 120 feet. As far as the braking feel goes, since there's no one behind us, it's actually great. It feels like 120 feet. That is an excellent number. That's bordering on a sports sedan, so absolutely no issues there. Then touching on suspension and handling, up front you're going to get an independent strut type front suspension. In the back, independent multi-link rear suspension, front and rear stabilizer bars. In addition to that, with the SR trim that we have today, you also get a sport tuned suspension, so you're going to feel a little bit more of the road, kind of tailored for better handling. But having said that, in my short little test drive here today, I don't have any issues with it personally. I can definitely tell you do feel more of the road though. I will say that. So it's definitely a firmer ride than a non-SR trim level. I'll just put it that way. Then touching on cabin noise, we're going 50 miles per hour right now. This is the perfect test. Maybe a little bit of road noise, but again, nothing that would personally bother me. But the first thing I noticed when I got in this one, I want to mention, is the steering feel. It's definitely weighted on the heavier side of things, just like the Nissan Sentra. So I personally love the steering feel in the Altima. It's definitely a more playful, more enjoyable steering feel to this thing. So big fan of that. And touching on rear visibility, I can see 100% perfectly fine out of my rear view mirror. So definitely not going to have any issues there either. But that pretty much rounds out the performance segment of this review, you guys. Let's now go ahead and take a look at the exterior of our brand new 2025 Nissan Altima. All right, so here she is, you guys, the new 2025 Nissan Altima, finished in bluestone pearl. In case you were curious of our exact exterior color name that we have with us here, I think it looks dang good. Love it with the SR trim as well. But as always, let's go ahead and start with where the Altima is made. Taking a look at the VIN, first character is the number 1, indicating that the new Altima is built and assembled here in the US. But moving along to the front of this thing, chrome V-Motion front grille will come standard. However, with the SR trim, you're going to get a black V-Motion front grille with the dark chrome kind of accent to the side there. SR badging on the front grille as well with our particular trim level. LED headlights though do come standard on every single trim level across the board. You gotta love that. You also get the automatic feature and automatic high beams as well. So if you have your high beams on at night, then since the vehicle coming in the opposite direction, it's gonna automatically dim them back to low beams. Then when that vehicle is gone, it's gonna automatically bounce it back up to high beams for you there. So a feature I personally use every single morning on my drive into my day job. So big fan of that one. But anyways, that pretty much rounds out the front end of this one. Let's now go ahead and swing around to the side. All right, so now since we are around to the side of the Altima, chrome belt line molding will come standard for all trim levels. You also have that floating roof line in typical Nissan fashion, found towards the C-pillar in the back there, separating the roof from the rest of the body. Matte black power adjustable side mirrors for the S trim level, body colored side mirrors for the SV and SL, and then gloss black side mirrors for our SR trim that we have with us here today. Also, the SL is going to give you integrated turn signals within those side mirrors. Just wanted to mention that too. Chrome door handles or body color door handles, depending upon the configuration that you go with. Then taking a look down at the wheel setup, 16-inch steel wheels with covers for that S, 17-inch machine finished alloys for the SV, and then 19-inch machine finished alloys for the SL and SR that you are currently looking at right now. But that pretty much rounds out the side profile. Let's now go ahead and swing around to the back. All right, so climbing into the snow to get this shot for you guys here, all the way to the top, body colored shark fin antenna. Just below that, there is a rear spoiler available. We don't have it with us here today, but I did want to mention that. Got the SR badging found in the upper corner there of the rear trunk. That's specific to our SR trim level, of course. And then just below it all, one of my favorite parts, dual exhaust outlets, but you will find chrome tips for the SR trim level only. So having said that, I do believe you guys know what we have to do next here. As always, here is that exhaust clip. Alright, so now since we are around to the back of the Altima, when it comes to opening that rear trunk, there is a button on the key fob, and of course there is a button on the trunk itself then as well. But once opened up, cargo capacity comes in at 15.4 cubic feet. If that was not enough space, there is a 60-40 split, meaning the rear seats do fold down for quite a bit of extra space then if you needed it. There is some cargo lighting back there. We actually had plenty of grocery bag hooks, which you very rarely see in sedans, so that was pretty cool to find. Then if you were to lift up underneath of that cargo floor, you will actually find a spare tire, which was nice as well. So then making our way up to the rear legroom, that is going to come in at 35.2 inches for reference. I'm an even 6 feet tall. This is how much space I had in the rear seats there. Rear ventilation coming with the SL trim level only if you wanted that. Rear charging ports for the SV trim level and up, and there is a rear center armrest with cup holders for every single trim level across the board. So that's pretty cool. But then let's go ahead and make our way to the front seats. Manually adjustable front seats with cloth seating for the S trim level, 8-way power driver seat for the SV trim level and up, sport cloth for the SR trim. However, there is some leather seating optional that we have with us here today, so I wanted to mention that. 4-way power lumbar for the SL, leather seating for the SL as well, and then heated seats for the SL. Although we do have them with us yet again because it is optional for the SR, but overall as far as seat comfort goes, it was okay. I like the heated seats because it is freezing today. However, this upper horizontal pressure point, not a huge fan of, so vertical seams would have done much better in this vehicle, just like I always say whenever there's this awkward pressure point. But anyways, let's now go ahead and take a look at the steering wheel. It is tilt and telescoping. It is leather wrapped for the SR trim level and up. I like the flat bottom on our SR trim as well, and it is heated for the SL trim level if you wanted that. But now let's go ahead and make our way to the startup. Let me start by showing you guys the key. You got all of your buttons located on one side of the key. Nissan logo at the very top. You got lock, unlock, the button to pop the trunk, and then that circular button that is actually your remote start, which, believe it or not, comes standard on every single trim level across the board. So you can warm this one up before you actually get inside on super cold days like today. So you gotta love that. But it is all keyless entry with a push button start for all trim levels yet again. So all I'm going to do here is simply put my foot on the brake and press that engine start button located just in front of the shifter. And so once started up, as far as the gauges go, tachometer is on your left, speedometer is on your right. There is a digital screen front and center to control what is on there. There are some steering wheel mounted controls found on the left side of the steering wheel. Gives you things like a digital speedometer, your average fuel economy, trip A, trip B, how many miles you have left until you hit empty. There's outside temperature, of course, and the list goes on. Pretty much everything you could possibly want on the digital portion of the gauges. Having said that, the black and white design doesn't really do it for me. I wish they had maybe some color in there, maybe some blue gauge needles or something like that, like just something that makes it fun and exciting and not so boring. That's all I'm saying. But now let's go ahead and make our way to overall interior quality. You're going to find an overhead sunglass holder for all trim levels across the board. That feels very high quality as well. Power moonroof for the SL, dual zone climate control for the SL. However, it is an option that we have with us here today. Wood trim for the SL and a wireless phone charger for the SL as well. That is optional on the SR because yet again we have that option. So that's located just in front of the shifter, by the way. Also, you have a couple USB charging ports and a 12-volt power outlet in front of that. Just to the right of the shifter, you have a couple cup holders, and everything is surrounded by a nice gloss black finish, which I personally like. I know not everybody is a fan of that, but I personally think it looks a lot better and it's easy to clean as well. And then within the center armrest, there's actually a decent amount of storage in there, so definitely a big fan of that as well. So overall, actually don't mind the interior quality. There's a lot of gloss black finishes. I like the silver door handles as well. They could have left that matte black plastic, but they didn't. So overall, this certainly gets the job done. I don't have any issues. But now let's go ahead and make our way to the infotainment screen because it is going to differ depending upon the configuration that you go with. So for example, there is a 7-inch color touchscreen display coming with the S, 8-inch color touchscreen display coming with the SV, SR, and SL. And then the options I keep mentioning, they're part of what's called an SR Premium package. And that one actually gives you a 12.3-inch color touchscreen display. So a lot of different options there, but Bluetooth and audio streaming coming with that, of course, either way. Android Auto, Apple CarPlay, wireless Android Auto, Apple CarPlay for the SL, and this optional package that we have with our SR. Factory navigation system with the SL as well. You check out your driving statistics up there. And overall, as I am scrolling through the stations here, there is a little bit of a delay, but overall everything works pretty darn good. So definitely not too bad there. But of course, you also have your radio information available up there. So 6 speakers is going to come with the S, SV, and SR trims. However, for the SL trim, you will find a 9-speaker Bose sound system. So we do have the 6-speaker sound system with us here today, so let's go ahead and turn on the radio, see what we got playing today, and let's test out the clarity of this one. Alright, so one thing Nissan always does with their 6-speaker sound systems is they provide an incredible amount of bass. They do a wonderful job with that. However, with their 6-speaker sound systems, yet again, the clarity isn't always there, and that's the case with this one as well. So not the best clarity. Bass is pretty darn good. But last thing I wanted to mention to you guys on that infotainment screen is when you do put the Altima in reverse, you will find a rear view camera coming standard across the board. Not the highest quality rear view camera out there, but it certainly gets the job done, I suppose. And then with the SL, you actually also get a 360-degree monitor to go along with that, which is always going to lead us into safety. So let me first start with the very best part when it comes to safety. IIHS Top Safety Pick Plus. It does not get any higher of a rating in existence than that, so that's a heck of a start right there. Front side curtain airbags do come standard. You get driver and passenger knee airbags up front as well. In the back, you're going to have latch, aka lower anchors and tethers to children for the rear car seats, rear child door locks, tire pressure monitoring system, but also coming standard. Forward collision warning, autonomous emergency braking with pedestrian detection, blind spot monitoring system with rear cross traffic alert, reverse automatic braking, and rear parking sensors actually as well. So overall, when it comes to my final thoughts here of the Altima, excellent safety. I always have to start with that. Like I said, you can't beat an IIHS Top Safety Pick Plus, so heck of a start right there. The other thing I think is a really big selling point for this is the fact that all-wheel drive is available. You can't say that for every sedan either, so 100% big fan of that since I'm looking at snow right now. And so, but that is about it for this one, you guys. Thank you so much for watching. Feel free to follow Younger Nissan on social media stuff somewhere on the screen. Be sure to hit the subscribe with the bell notification button if you're into new car reviews and all of our fun YouTube shorts we put on our channel as well. We do appreciate you guys watching more than you know, and we will see you guys all in the next video. Bye.